Hi everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I've come up with another SQL challenge that was asked in JP Morgan interview. Now this problem is based on finding the capital gain or loss of the stock transaction. So let's take a look at the problem statement over here. So the problem statement says that you need to write a SQL query to report the capital gain or loss for each stock. Now you have been given that the capital gain or loss of a stock is nothing but the total gain or loss after buying and selling the stock one or many times. And at last you have to return the result table ordered by capital gain loss column in the descending order. Okay. So basically, let's take a look at the sample input table that we have been given. So we have the input table named stocks having 4 columns. The first column is stock name, which is the asset that is being traded. So in this case, we have 3 unique stocks: Apple, Tesla, and Samsung. Okay, in this sample input table. The next column that we have is the operation column. That is nothing but the type of the trade. Buy means purchase and sell means selling of the stock. Now, third column is denotes the operation day, which is the day on which the trade happened. So this is the operation day. Then in the last column, we have the price of the stock. So the transaction price of the stock at that particular time. Okay. Now let's take a look at the output table. So the output table shows the net result, which is nothing but the profit or loss. So capital gain or loss represents the profit or loss after pairing buy and sell transactions in chronological order. So for each particular stock, so we have each unique stock over here, the Apple, Tesla, and Samsung. So when you buy, you definitely spend money, and when you sell, you earn money. So basically, you are calculating the difference, which is nothing but sell minus buy. That will give you the ultimate profit or gain or loss for that particular trade. So if it is a negative sign, it denotes loss. If it is a positive, it denotes profit. So finally, all the gain and losses are summed up per stock here. Now let's understand how this output has been derived from this input table over here. So first of all, if you just see the rows in your input table, just take a look at the stock name for Apple. So as you can see, the stock at price 1500. So this is one I'm talking about at the operation day, which is nothing but the day 1. Okay. So here it bought it. So I'm talking about this. And here in the third row, you can see that sold this stock at the operation day 5 at with the price 5000. So basically here the profit would be calculated as 5000 minus 1500, and it will give us 3500. And in the remaining columns we don't have any particular column regarding Apple. Okay, that is what we have for the Apple. So we have the profit of 3500 for the stock name Apple. Now secondly, if you see for the Tesla, here you can see there are multiple trades. The second row denotes your Tesla, this one, then you have these 4, and then you have these last. Okay, so here if you see for Tesla, you just buy a stock at the operation day 2 for the price 1200. So you have bought a stock of 1200 rupees, and you have simply sold it for 1300 rupees at the operation day 3. So here guys, we are assuming the quantity of the stock is 1 because we don't have any new column that denotes the quantity. So assuming the quantity is 1, and based on that we'll be solving this question. So here you sell for 1300, and here you made the profit of rupees 100. So now we are done with this column and this column. Now let's move on to this. Here you bought for 1500. So you bought for 1500, and next you sold it for 1100. So here the loss happened for rupees 400. Okay. Now, so you are done with this and this as well. Now you're left with this and the last one. So here you bought for 1400, and here you sold it for 1200. Again loss. So you just have to sum up these plus 100 plus minus 400 plus minus 200, and it will give you the total as minus 500. So this is nothing but the loss of 500. Now the last stock that we are left with is Samsung. So here if you see for the Samsung, it bought one stock for at the operation day 17 for rupees 20,000. Okay, and it sold it at the operation days 29 for 15,000. Means again the loss of 5,000. So that's what we have in our output. For Apple, it is 3,500. For Tesla, it is minus 500. And for Samsung, it is minus 5,000. Now guys, there is one thing that I would like to highlight here is that the stats and the numbers that are shown here are used purely for basic assumptions of the stock prices. So I would suggest you to please consider them as illustrative examples and not the actual market data. Let's see how to solve this particular question in SQL. So there are multiple approaches to solve this problem. So here we will be discussing the top 3 approaches that I found. Now, basically, I'll quickly give you a general SQL approach to solve this problem. So first of all, what you'll be doing is you'll simply separate the buys and sells in the two CTs. So basically, you will be writing two CTEs over here, and you'll simply separate the buys and the sells. That is, and then you'll match each cell to the earliest buy using row number or the lead window function. So here we'll be discussing both of these approaches, and you'll simply calculate the sell price minus buy price, and in the last you'll simply sum the results for each particular stock name. So let's discuss using row numbers. First of all, what you'll be doing is you will make use of row number to number buys and sells separately for each stock. So this will give you first buy, second buy, third buy, and then following with the first sell, second sell, and third sell, like that will give you. Secondly, you have to match each buy with the corresponding cell by row number. So here you will be joining the buy and sell rows using same stock name and the same row number. So this way you will be matching them, like first buy matches with first sell, second buy matches with second sell, and so on. And then you will simply calculate the profit and loss. So the gain or loss that you will be calculating will be calculated using the sell price minus the buy price. And lastly, you will simply aggregate the profit and loss for each stock. So here you will sum all the gain or loss that happened for each particular stock that we did in the output explanation, and you'll simply get the final output as the total capital gain or loss per stock. So this is going to be your approach 1 using row number. Now let's discuss the approach number 2 using lead function. So again, what you'll be doing is the step 1 would be to use row number to order all transactions, that is buy and sell per stock based on operation day, just like we did in our approach 1. Next, in the step 2, you will make use of the lead window function to find the next transaction. So for each row, you will be applying the lead window function partitioned by stock and ordered by row number. And this will give you the price of the next transaction for that particular stock. So if the current row is a buy, then the next row would be sell, like that. Now moving on to the step 3, you will simply build buy-sell pairs and calculate the gain and loss. So here you will keep only the rows where operation is equals to buy, and for each buy row, you will be calculating buy price is equals to price, then sell price would be the lead of that price. So that's how you will be building buy-sell pairs. And then you will be calculating the gain or loss. So you'll simply compute using the formula that is sell price minus buy price. So that will give you the profit or the loss for that buy-sell pair. Now, in the last step, you'll simply aggregate the results group by stock name. So here you will simply do the summation of the gain or loss group by the stock name. So final result will show you the total capital gain or loss per stock. Now this is your approach number 2. Now let's move on to the third approach, which is very easy using case when. So this is the easiest one. So here you will be following some of the steps. Your step 1 would be to use the case statement for 2 conditions. The condition 1 is that when the operation is buy, then you'll multiply the price by -1 to represent the loss. And when the operation is sell, you will be using the price as it is to represent the profit. Okay. Now in the step 2, you will use the sum function to add up the values returned by the case statement for each stock name group and name it as capital gain or loss. In the step 3, you will simply group the results by stock name using the group by statement. And finally, you can simply do the order by capital gain or loss in descending order using the order by clause along with the descending keyword. Okay. So this is how you're going to approach this problem. I hope you're clear with all the approaches. You can even pause the video here take the script from the description box, try the solution on your own, and then comment below your solution. Okay, so guys, there is one thing that I wanted to discuss. So here we don't have the quantity column. So what if you have the quantity column? That is, you have multiple quantities that actually happens in the real world scenario. But since this question is from the interview perspective, and the interview don't wanted to make this question very complex, that's why I personally think that he have not included the quantity column. So if you're working on a real world data and you do have a quantity column separately, then in that case you'll need FIFO matching. What it means is first in first out matching. So pure SQL cannot do FIFO matching cleanly without recursion, and here we will be making use of recursive CTE if we have the quantity column separately. Okay. That being said, there are two practical approaches. If quantity is always 1, in our case, we are assuming the quantity of the stock is 1. So the solution is coming out to be easy. Just match row by row with the window functions. That's what we will be doing here. But if in case the quantity is greater than 1, that is the most realistic case. In that case, you will need to have the recursive CTE to actually implement the FIFO matching, that is first in, first out matching. Okay. So let's now move on to the implementation of our solution. So we will be implementing our solution in MySQL. So let's get ahead. Cool. So here we have, as you can see, I have already imported my stocks table. So this is my SQL script, and I'll attach this script in the description box so that you can copy it from there and implement the solution on your own. So if I just run this query, you can see that my stocks table has been imported, having these 4 columns: stock name, operation, operation day, and price. So this is my sample input table. Now we are going to solve this solution using 3 approaches. So our approach 1 would be to make use of row number window function. Okay. So what we are going to do is, here we are going to assign row numbers to number buys in cell separately for each stock. So okay. So this is my method 1, using row number. Okay. And in this method, I have steps like my step 1 was to give row numbers separately to buy and sell transactions. Cool. And if I say about my step 2, to match each buy with the corresponding cell by row number. Okay. And in the step 3, you just need to aggregate profit or loss for each stock. So these are going to be your steps. So let's move ahead for the step 1. So here I just need to give row numbers separately to buy and sell transactions. So let's do that. Select from my stocks table over here. So here what you need to do is just write the column names, that is stock name. Secondly, operation. Next, operation day, and the price. So these are the columns that you already have. Now I'm giving the row number. So I will be applying row number window function over. So here you need to do partition by stock name, comma, operation, stock name, comma, operation, and then you need to do order by on the operation day. Okay. And here I'm just giving as row number. Okay. So I've applied row number over here. So this is your, so if I just run this query, let's see what it gives you. So you can see that you have, so for the Apple buy sell, you can see row number 1 1, for the Samsung here 1 1 1, like that it is giving you. So here you will actually do the self join on the CTE. So here select from ordered B, and again you want to join it ordered. I'm just giving the second alias as A. So B I've given to for the buy, and S I'm given for the, so S I'm giving here for sell. Okay. And I want to join it on the stock name. So B dot stock name is equal to S dot stock name. Cool. And what I want to do is I want to keep B dot, I want to do on certain conditions that B dot row number is equals to S dot row number that we just created from my CTE above, and operation B dot operation should be by and one last condition that S dot operation should be sell. I hope you're clear with the second CTE as well. So whatever the columns that I want to retrieve here, I'll just write the column name, stock name. Secondly, we want to write the gain and loss, right? We want to compute the gain and loss as well. So if I just write this, 1 second, comma, what you want to compute here, you just want to compute S dot price minus B dot price. So it will give you, so it will actually give you the gain or loss. Gain or loss. Okay, so I'm giving the new column over here. I'll also enclose this in my another CTE. So I'm giving the CTE name as paired because I've paired buy and sell. And okay, so this is also enclosed. So let's just see what it is giving you. Select start from paired. Let's see what the CTE is giving you. I'm just okay. So here you can see that it has given you for the Apple 3500, for Samsung it is minus 5000, has given you the gain or loss. So we are almost approaching our output table. Now you can see that for the stock name Tesla, you can see that 3 rows over here. So you simply want to aggregate it in the last step. So here in the step 3, you will simply aggregate the profit and loss for each stock. So I'll just remove this, and here I just want to write select, and whatever the column that you want to retrieve the stock name and the capital gain or loss. So I just want to sum up the values of my gain loss column, and I'm just giving the aliases capital gain loss. This is from my paired CTE. And at last I just want to group the results by my stock name. Cool. So this is going to give you, sorry, okay, so this is going to give you the final output. So let me just run this query. Okay, so as you can see here, you have received your output. That for Apple it is 3500, for Samsung it is, and yeah, you have to order it by descending order. Okay, at the lastly you just have to do for the descending order, you can just simply write order by capital gain loss TSC. So Tesla will come right above the Samsung. Okay, so yeah, that was your expected output. So we have solved it using the first approach. Let's move on to the method 2. So your method 2 was using lead window function. Using lead window function. Now the solution is more or less very similar to the first one. Here we will simply make use of lead window function to find the next transaction. Okay, so here let's see what was my steps. Again, I'll simply write my steps. So my step 1 would be to use row number again, to order all transactions per stock. Okay. Second step that we simply did in my first approach. Now second step would be to use lead function, to find next transaction. Okay, in the first approach you actually joined it, you actually made use of self join. In this step you will be making use of lead window function, and at the last you will simply build by or sell pairs, and you will be calculating and you will be calculating gain or loss, and lastly you'll simply aggregate the results. Okay, so let's solve this. Okay, so my step one is very same and very similar to my approach one. So I just have to use row number to order all the transactions per stock. So let me just copy it from the our method only. So this is going to be my step one, which is completely similar. So here what I have done is I have made use of row number to order all the transactions, that is buy and sell per stock based on the operations day. So this ensures that we process trades in chronological order. Now moving on to the next step, we have to make use of lead window function to find the next transaction. So here for each row we will be applying lead or the price column, partitioned by stock and ordered by row number. So that will give us the price of the next transaction for that stock. So if the current row is a buy, then the next row would be sell. So let's just apply the lead window function here. So I'm simply writing select from. So I'll be referring to my above CTE, that is ordered. And from this, whatever the column that I want to extract, I'll be writing those stock name, then price. So the price would be my buy price. And now I want to apply the lead window function on my price column. On my price column, it should be over and the bracket partition by stock name and order by row number that we recently created in the step one. Okay, so this will give us sell price, and the next column, another column that I want to retrieve is operation column. Cool. This again I'll enclose in another CTE. So I'm just giving the CTE name as pairs, as I've enclosed in the CTE here, and there should be comma. Okay. So let's just see what is the output of my pairs CTE that I just created from pairs. Okay, so if I just run the query, you can see that for each of the stock operation, you can see the operation that is a sell operation. So here the price is being this price has been shifted to there. So here for the sell operation of Apple, 5,000 is a uh, is a sell price here, 5,000. So this has been shifted to the new column. So we have created a new column using the lead window function here. So similarly, it has done for the Samsung. So this is the sell operation 15,000 that has been shifted here. And similarly for the Tesla, the buy sell. So this is the buy 1,200, and for this buy, the 1,300 is the sell. So here you can see 1,300, and similarly it just goes in like that. Since we only want to consider the buy operation now, so let's just move on to the next step. So here I just want to only consider the buy operation. Select from pairs, and here I just want to sum. So I'll just quickly I just want to extract the stock name column. Next should be my, let's simply calculate the capital gain loss by subtracting sell price minus buy price, and it should give you capital gain loss. And there must be condition that you only have to do for the operation should be buy. And at last you will have to apply the group by clause on the stock name column. So just apply this on the stock name column. Cool. So this is going to be your method 2. So let's simply run this query now. Okay, so as you can see that we have got the expected output. Just simply lastly do the capital gain loss in descending order. So here only there is a difference in the step 2. We have made use of lead window function to find the next transaction over here. For each row, we will be applying lead on the price here over partition by stock name and ordered by row number. So this is giving us the price of the next transaction for that particular stock. So if the current row is buy, then the next row is its sell. Okay. So that's how we are just calculating. And the lastly, we are simply calculating the capital gain and loss for each particular stock. We have applied the group by on the stock name, so it's calculating for each stock, and then at the last we are just adding all the gain and loss, which is ultimately giving us the capital gain loss. So here we have considered the operation by, since we want to apply this for the buy operation, and similarly it will calculate for the buy sell pair. So that's how you can compute this. Let's now move on to our third method. So our steps were, I'll simply write the steps in short, because step 1 would be using case statement. Using case statement, when by we were supposed to multiply by -1 when the operation was sell, we will as it is. The price would be as it is. Next, in the step 2, using sum function. In the step 3, group by clause. Okay, so moving ahead to writing the SQL query, I will write for the step 1. So I'll just write select statement, select from stocks. So here I will extract the column name as my stock name, and then I will simply apply the case when operation is equal to by, then -1 into price. Okay. Secondly, when operation is equal to sell, in that case, then the price would be as it is, and I'll simply end it, and it should be ended as capital gain or loss. Okay. Now in the step 2, what you wanted to do is you just wanted to sum it up. So I simply do sum here only. Okay. I don't want it to apply the bracket here. Okay. Cool. And at the last, you have to apply the group by. So I'm just writing group by stock name. And lastly, you have to do order by capital gain or loss in descending order. Let me see what this query gives me. Okay. So I'll just end it. Stock name, this. Let's see what this is giving you. After removing this. And you can see that you have got the expected output again. So that's how you can approach this problem using 3 methods. So I hope you're clear with the solution. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys. If I would suggest, just practice it on your own first and then just move on to the solution. I have attached the queries in the description box, so you can just check it out from there. Thank you guys and see you soon. Bye bye.